troublemakers coming across the south side. We're pretty safe over here, and we need. I don't care what anybody says. Once you open up packed ways, trouble can come. I'm not trying not to be negative, but we need to hire more police. Bottom line. Well, and I hope Greg Kulik, the chief, is listening to me. We need more police in this town.
That's true. And the south side is a nice little place where you don't have.
Set up a mini police station on the south side. That's what I've been saying that for years. I like to see that. Set up a mini station somewhere.
Or even if they had a guy get out, come over in his car, get out and walk around.
Right. Yeah. I see it all over the other cities. I see it all over other cities. Johnstown does it. He walks around, checks on doors on businesses. I talk to him. He does it. He does it all the time. I thought that fiberglass building was sold.
Oh, the one up on Edson Street's been sold, but the one on
the other ones.
Yeah, the one on the top of the hill. That's not sold. No.
Well, whoever buys that building, I'm so sad. Every time I drive by, it needs a paint. You know what I mean? It's been paint chips for 40 years now.
It's awful. I know.
It's terrible.
And especially since it dominates the landscape up there, it really.
It needs to be. Whoever buys it, I hope they do something with it, make it look better than it does now.
I agree. Even if they sandblasted what was left of the paint off, it would be better.
The words right. Yeah. Exactly. Sandblast it and bring it back to the original, whatever.
Right.
All right. I just wanted to talk about the bridge. I go, it's got character. So,
sure.
Like I said, we'll be walking across that bridge pretty soon, huh?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. By the end of the year, we will be. So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. We have another call. Let's take it. Good morning. You're on Valley VOX.
Good morning. I just want to ask a question, and I want to hang up and listen. I was wondering, they're putting up the beautiful bridge and everything, but what I am wondering is, are they going to put those rams that Mayor Thane bought on the bridge, or whatever happened to those rams?
Okay.
That's what I want to know. Where are the rams?
As far as I know, one of them, last I knew, one was at the City Hall, and I forget where the other one was. But the last time I was in City Hall, I didn't see it there. The idea of using the rams has been abandoned.
Oh, because there was like 4 of them, I think.
No, maybe there was. I thought there was only 2, but you might be right. I think they're going to sell those off or auction them off anyway, but they're not buying any more.
All right.
Yeah.
But they definitely put their money elsewhere.
Yeah. The idea was to paint or have artists decorate each one and sell them to make money. Which wasn't necessarily a bad idea. The problem I had with it is that the ram is not a symbol of the city; it's a symbol of the school. And if you're going to do something for the city, it should be windmills or something like that.
That's what I believe too. The windmills should be here.
But none of them are going on the bridge, as far as I know, and none of them are going anywhere. And what few they have are going to be sold off or auctioned off. That's my understanding.
Walk and see that one down the City Hall.
Yeah, if it's still there. It was right inside the lobby at one point, but I don't know if it's there or not now.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and have a good day.
Okay, you too. Thank you. Okay. So let me just mention a little bit more about the school district candidates, school board candidates. And by the way, I believe we're also on WKAJ 1120 AM out in St. Johnsville today. So if anyone out there wants to call and talk about any issues out there, please feel free to. Because you probably have some school board elections, school budget election votes out there as well. And our school election, well, I think all of them are on Tuesday. Usually it's noon till 9 that the polls are open. In Amsterdam, we got to vote on the budget. We got to vote for 2 candidates for school board, and there's a vote for $10,000 to the Fort Hunter Library. Marciniak also said, this is one of the candidates, also said, as a school board member, I would strongly advocate for professional development opportunities for our teachers. I believe we need to help our teachers find new, innovative approaches for students with additional needs. Engaging students who may not be performing to their full potential can have a significant impact on grades and ultimately academic success in our schools. She didn't say whether she was for or against the budget this year. Hans only gave a brief statement according to this article. She said she wanted to bring a new perspective to the board, and if elected, hopes to tackle state testing in schools. All of the candidates appear to be against the Common Core, the testing involved in the Common Core anyway, all 4 of them. She said, I think this is a big hurdle we need to address. As a parent, I can see what it does to my children who take the test. I don't think it really is a good way to measure progress. It doesn't allow for special needs children or language barriers. None of that is taken into consideration. Lisa Choate, stay-at-home mother, said she was against the budget, but she would have fixed it not by cutting programs, by cutting other areas and hopefully getting some grants. She's she wants to have a better anti-bullying program, and she's very pro-parent from what I can see. She cited the Parent Network of the Capital Region, which provides parents with knowledge, skills, and resources to facilitate productive relationships with their school district to ensure the appropriate education for the child, according to the website. Yeah, she has her own website, by the way, Lisa Choate does. Murdoch did not respond to the recorder's request for information. However, I did find information about him online, that he gave an interview to an online site, and he said he's against the Common Core. He said the state is overly reliant on corporations to develop the curriculum and test without consulting the teachers. He feels that the 2% tax levy under the proposed budget for a 2015 to 2016 year is necessary. He would like to see summer school expanded to increase the graduation rates, and he would like to see more students involved with the P-TECH program, which is Pathways in Technology at BOCES, which the school district or taxpayers have to pay for it, but he feels they have better learning modules there. And when students go to this program, they get a high school diploma and associate's degree at the same time. So you have Gavin Murdoch, who says the budget is fine as far as he's concerned, wants to improve graduation rates, against the Common Core. Lisa Choate, big anti-bullying thing, supports and wants a liaison for parents, against the Common Core, and she was against the proposed tax increase. You have Catherine Hans, who also mentioned she's against the Common Core, and then Marciniak, who didn't say anything about the budget, but planned to focus on professional development to help teachers reach their full potential, and said that the school board members need to get politics out of things and make decisions that are in the best interest of the students. So those are the four. It's not a lot of information, but it's better than what we had the other day. It gives us a little bit to go on in voting in the school district election on Tuesday. That's this coming Tuesday. So get out and vote. You know, if you don't vote, you still are voting. If you don't vote, you voted for the people that win. That's my belief. If you don't vote, you voted for whoever won. That's the only way I can look at it. And not voting, coming up with some excuse for not voting, that's all it is. You know, under the Soviet Union, when the communists were in control, they had a 95% voter turnout, even though often they only had one candidate. Now, maybe, I don't know all the reasons for that. Maybe some of it was people were scared not to turn out and vote because they thought maybe the party would find out and they would get in trouble. But it also could be that even though they didn't, it could be because they had a right to vote, and even though it wasn't a great like we have here, they did not want to lose what little bit of power that they did have. So they went out and voted. Good morning, you're on Valley VOX.
Yeah, good morning, Dan.
Morning.
I was kind of surprised that none of the candidates made mention of the low graduation rate.
Yeah, I think Gavin did, not in the paper, but on an online site I read where he wanted to improve the graduation rate. Wait, let me see now. I got it right here. I don't want to misquote him. I believe he wanted to increase summer school to improve the graduation rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that was him.
Well, and they also, none of them mentioned that every year when the Capital District Business Review rates the 80 school districts in the Capital Region, Amsterdam is normally in the bottom 5.
Right.
You know, and I think those are important issues that have to be addressed.
They do.
You know, you can paint all the kind of solutions you want with a broad brush, but you know, basically a lot of it starts at home. Yes, and
I agree.
If there's not that parental influence, then unfortunately you're going to have tough results. You know, and another thing, with the Taylor Law and with the Triborough Amendment, really a school board is limited in its power to, you know, to negotiate contracts, because if the union does not like the terms that are being proposed to them, they can simply, you Once you get past all negotiations, they can simply vote it down and wait, and they continue to work under the terms of the expired contract, and they continue to get raises, the steps that are built into the contract. So really, there's no incentive for them to sign a contract that doesn't give them absolutely everything that they want. And if they don't get everything they want, they can just wait until they get a quorum on the school board of school board members who are sympathetic to their cause, and then they get everything they want, like in one big package.
Right. And I want to see teachers compensated fairly. I really do. I don't want them to be working for nothing. It's hard being a teacher today.
Well, what's fair compensation?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Go ahead.
Basically, New York State has the highest teacher salaries.
Yes.
I saw a study one time of median salaries nationally of elementary school teachers, and it was like about $50,000 a year. Where we have elementary teachers making $80,000-$90,000 a year. So I mean, where does it end? You can't keep just throwing money at all problems and think that money is going to buy a solution.
I agree with you there, and I think the point you bring up about the parents, money is not going to fix the home problems. Money put into the school is not going to fix the problem of men who get women pregnant and then take off, women bringing up these children by themselves, having a hard life to deal with, poverty and whatever else is associated with that. Money is thrown to the schools is not going to fix all that. There is a problem in our country that hardly anyone talks about that's creating a lot of problems, and it's a I don't know what you want to call it, a problem of values, a problem of spirituality, whatever you want to call it. People have to have certain values if they want their children to succeed in life and do well in school. And if they don't have those values, you can spend all the money you want in the school system and it's not going to fix it.
Yeah, at some point in time, I think it becomes the responsibility of the entire school district to look out for the welfare and benefit of the kids, not just your own kids. If you go to an athletic event, you'll see the stands full of people cheering for the athletes, no matter where they came from or who they are or what their last name is. That's great for athletics, but they don't get that same kind of support in the classroom from the community.
Right.
If kids are born to families where they don't have a positive parental influence, then all right, we identified the problem, but what are you going to do about it?
Right.
You can either help out, you can either, mentor, or that kind of thing, or you can just keep complaining about it. But really, I think a lot of people don't really know what to do. A lot of people that are maybe first-generation residents of the district, they've got the safety net that, they're always going to be taken care of. And who knows? They might be having a better lifestyle now on social services than they did working in their previous, where they lived before.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Cuomo wants to get the minimum wage up, at least for fast food workers, is to try to get them off of getting food stamps and everything else that they're getting that we're subsidizing. And so, the living wage is an important issue. This gap between the rich and poor, I think, needs to be decreased. And, so McDonald's is going to have to make a little less profit and pay the workers a little better, but I think it's going to help all the way around if that happens. That's my opinion.
Well, they're taking the right step, and they're trying to come up with a better product at McDonald's.
Yes, they are. They just need to share a little bit more of the wealth with the people that work there. I've heard people say, well, those are meant to be entry-level jobs. You don't make those a career. Well, the problem is sometimes they end up being a career because there are no other jobs around in a place, or there's no other jobs that people can get. And some people do rise up through the ranks at McDonald's and become a manager, and they get paid better and so on. But some people just get stuck in these low-paying jobs because there's no other places to work.
That's right. Dan, have you ever been to Sturbridge Village?
I have. I took my wife there for the first time about 3 years ago. We went there. It was fantastic, except we went on a 93-degree day.
Mm-hmm. That type of arrangement where they have, an 1820 village set up?
Yes. Somewhere around there.
With the town square and all that kind of stuff. It would be nice if they could maybe do something like that at the old Monco site as far as the carpet industry goes.
Yeah.
Maybe have a small-scale mill with a carpet loom inside.
That's a definite possibility, an interesting idea. And here's something I came across the other day for people who live up county. There was a plan back in the 60s or maybe early 70s to develop an entire Palatine German-type town similar to Sturbridge Village. And it would have had Fort Clock in it, Nellis Tavern, the fantastic stone church out there, and it would have had 2 Dutch barns in, but I don't think they exist anymore. I bought a bunch of stuff from somebody, and in it was these plans. I'd never seen them before, ever heard of this. And they showed where they had parking lots, the blacksmith shop, you name it. It was going to cover a lot of areas. It was really fabulous idea. I don't know what happened to it. That would have been great for our county if they had gone through with it, but I don't know if maybe some older people around here remember when that was discussed and when it was planned. I have no idea what happened to the idea, but it was a great idea. It could still be done, but the problem is there aren't as many of the buildings around as there were back in the 60s and 70s. Some of them have disappeared.
Dan, can I ask you quickly, do you know of what food vendors there are at the Spring Fling?
Let's see. Marcelino's Pizza. Of course, Riverside Pizza will be open, I believe. There's one called Solicious. It's they're black people, and I think they cook chicken in their the way that Southern blacks make chicken and other foods. Are
there any Hispanic vendors there?
I didn't see any. There could be. I didn't see all the booths. There could be. I know that there's a Caribbean restaurant on Main Street. He's probably open, and he has Spanish food. And he might have a booth out there. And Nana's Bakery, of course, is open with, I think she has a sidewalk thing. There was another vendor, I don't know who they are, but they were selling cookies and breads and all kinds of stuff like that, and I bought a peanut butter cookie from them. And I'm sure there's others, I just can't remember them, or either that or I didn't see them.
What Chet said was kind of rings true. There's either nothing going on or a lot of things going on.
That's true. Hey, I got to run the break. I'm a little bit over. I just realized.
Okay, Dan,
sorry.
Good weekend.
All right, thank you.
Changes your whole perspective.
Okay, you do know.
I'm Tim Everhart with the latest weather, brought to you by Patriot Federal Bank, located on Route 30 in Amsterdam, Erie Boulevard in Canajoharie, and across from the Holiday Inn on North Comrie Ave in Johnstown. Today, May 16th, showers likely through the early morning with a drying trend through the day. Mostly cloudy skies overall with breaks of sun in the afternoon and a chance of a few additional showers or a non-severe thunderstorm during the afternoon and evening, a high of 75. Tonight, any showers ended as clouds thin out, mild, a low in the mid-50s. And for your Sunday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, dry and pleasantly warm, a high near 80. I'm Tim Everhart, and that was the latest weather, brought to you by your friends at Patriot Federal Bank. Hometown banking with the personal difference.
Come get everything you need to completely update your home at all the right prices during the Home Rejuvenation event at Ruby and Query. For a limited time, you can start by purchasing any item in the store and get additional discounts off the sale tag. With each new furniture item you purchase, get 10% off your second furniture item, 20% off your third, and a huge 30% off your fourth furniture item. Plus, find red-hot buys throughout the store to save up to 50%. Finally, say goodbye to achy backs and restless nights with savings on every size and every firmness of select mattress brands like Beauty Sleep. Experience recharging sleep with Beauty Sleep queen sets for only $3.99, or upgrade to an adjustable mattress and base for only $9.99. As a bonus, get 2 memory foam pillows and matching sheet set for free with any mattress set purchase of $9.99 or more. Come to the Home Rejuvenation event at Ruby and Query today while these amazing offers last. Located in Johnstown across Route 38 from the Holiday Inn or online at rnq.com. Always the best for less.
The biggest selection of wines and spirits, the lowest prices every day, convenience and friendly service. That's why you'll hear us say we'll keep you in the best of spirits.
Hi everybody, Swap Shop Joe here for my friends at West End Wine and Liquor. Bill and Lorraine feature a large selection of your favorite wines and liquors, great service, and some of the best prices in the area. They're located at 265 Division Street. Call them at 842-6111. And remember, West End Wine and Liquor is run by Amsterdam people for Amsterdam people.
We'll keep you in the best of spirits.
That's West End Wine and Liquor, 265 Division Street in Amsterdam.
We'll keep you in the best of spirits.
Try Vincent's Barbershop, 185 West Main Street, serving Amsterdam and the surrounding area for over 50 years. With ample parking and no waiting, we save you time and money. Men's regular cut, $12. Children's cuts, only $5. Open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 1. Women's cuts at $10. Try Vincent's Barbershop, 185 West Main Street, Amsterdam. Professional barber service for all types of hair.
Located at 189 Marcus Street in Amsterdam, AAA Appliance has all the appliances you could need. Need a new washer? Not an issue. Fridge on the fritz? Not a problem. Just come visit the skilled repairmen at AAA Appliance. Priding themselves on prompt service and fair prices, AAA Appliance can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. Call them at 843-1222 or stop by. Remember, that's AAA Appliance, 189 Marcus Street in Amsterdam.
For 2 years, I experienced sciatic pain. I could barely walk. I had to do something, especially since I'm a nurse on my feet all day, and I love to exercise. I reached out to Dr. Shen at St. Mary's in Amsterdam. He says, I'll take that pain away. And I said, really? And he says, yeah. When I woke up from surgery, my pain was gone. And now I'm back to enjoying the things I used to do. St. Mary's and Dr. Shen gave me my life back.
Visit ChooseStMarys.com to learn more. Why have your back surgery anywhere else?
This is Dan Weaver back on Valley VOX and WCSS 1490 AM in Amsterdam and WKAJ 1120 AM in St. Johnsville, New York. Hey, did you read up there in Malta? They have 13 roundabouts in Malta, and they're going to add 2 more. I don't know about you, but I avoid Malta because I don't want to go on through all those roundabouts. When they only had 7, or it reminded me of Dante's 7 circles of hell. And I always had these nightmares. I was going to get on those roundabouts and never be able to figure out how to get out of them. Anyway, we're moving on. The story about the poor little kid, Kenneth White, who was killed by his cousin, I guess it was, down there outside of Albany. Now, that boy was in the custody of Montgomery County Child Protective Services at one time. What I'd like to know is how, in 6 months after he was handed over to his aunt, given custody to his aunt down there in Albany, and 6 months later they say the house isn't fit to live in. The one girl has like 16 teeth that are decayed and are really bad. How do 16 teeth get decay in 6 months? It sounds to me like somebody here in Montgomery County didn't do their work, didn't do their homework as far as going down and inspecting the house and seeing what was going on, because all this so-called stuff they found in his house, it wasn't fit for those kids to be in and everything. In 6 months' time, that couldn't have happened. It just couldn't have happened. So it sounds to me like somebody really screwed up. And that somebody was Montgomery County Child Protective Services. They may not want to hear that, but I believe that's what happened. Everything points in that direction. Now, I am glad that the children are in foster care, because it sounds to me like they don't want to be with any of their relatives. But I want to bring up another point that really has little to do with the case, but Judge Maney, he's the one that's made all these rulings. I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of years ago he was arrested. He had a DWI on 787. He did a U-turn on 787 to evade the police. And then he did some other stuff, I think, like take some mouthwash to try to cover up. And it went before the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct, and all he received was an admonition. No censorship, no removal from the bench. Now, it was a split decision. The men that voted, or men and women that voted on what should be done to him, and there were at least 3 who said he should be removed from the bench, but he wasn't. The same judges that rule on people who have been caught drinking while driving, have a DUI or DWI. Some of those same judges have been arrested for the same stuff, and they're still sitting on the bench. Now, it does look like the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct is going to start taking a harder line on this. But so far they haven't. They have a different standard for the judges who are caught DUI or DWI than they do the regular person on the street. In fact, I researched this and wrote an article on it. I researched all the decisions I could find about judges who were caught DUI, DWI, and there were only like 2 that were removed. And one of them that was removed was because he was found asleep with his engine running on the Northway, right in one of the lanes. And so, and another judge was found under the influence while he was on the bench. So it takes a lot to get a judge off the bench who's been found under the influence of alcohol in his or her car or on the bench. But I just wanted to bring that up. It's a separate issue. It has really nothing to do with the case, but I just saw his name there and I remembered that, and it's something that I hope the state deals with. By the way, if you're ever downtown Amsterdam, you'll see a guy, he's probably in his 60s or so, going around picking up trash. His name is Mario Conti, and I just wanted to give what they call a shout out to him, because every day he's out there picking up trash, every single day. And if you see him doing that, stop and tell him, you know, I thank you for doing that. We really appreciate that. Because I tell you, the downtown would be a lot dirtier if Mario was not in downtown Amsterdam cleaning it up every day. I see that there's going to be a 4-city combined effort to fight blight. Amsterdam, Gloversville, Schenectady, and Troy are teaming up to fight blight. That's a good idea. I think that's great, and I hope something comes out of it. We have responded to this blight problem a little too slow, as far as I'm concerned. It seems to have snowballed in recent years, and so I hope this is one more tool in fighting it. I hope it's effective. I hope the land bank's effective. I hope we can get our act together and get a foreclosure done and a sale done, and that needs to be done every year and not wait 6 or 7 years like we did this last time. Now, if you didn't read the Recorder today, I had an article in it. I hope you will pick it up and read it. It's $1. You get coupons in it that will more than pay for the purchase of the newspaper. But what I wrote about today was the attitude I've seen on the part of a few people, not a lot, who feel that outsiders do not belong in Amsterdam. This issue came up because somebody sent Mayor Thane a letter or email or some Facebook message, I forget what it was, and said that she has no right to be a mayor because she wasn't brought up here. And that's just a crock. And it came up again because at one of our downtown business meetings, merchant association meetings, the lady in charge asked how many of us grew up or born and grew up in Amsterdam. And of the 8 people who responded, only 1. The rest of us were not born here or brought up here, but we came here by choice. We love the city, and we want to do something for the city. Now, that's not to put down anyone who's born and brought up here. We all bring different strengths to the table, so to speak. People who were brought up here have knowledge of the city that people who moved here don't have necessarily. I was interested in this one building on the south side. I was interested in buying it for my store, and a friend of mine who knew the building said, yeah, that's not a good idea. He said, that used to be a gas station, and probably the land under it is contaminated. Well, I took his advice because I did not want to own a piece of land that was contaminated and have to pay all that money to have the problem remediated. So there's something to be said about for the people who have moved here and the people who live here both. And we don't need this artificial barrier. You know, there's too much in Amsterdam that divides people. And one thing that's really irritating me about this whole budget process is it become a political battle in the city of Amsterdam. And I'm sure it may be this way in other towns up the valley. Why is it a political thing? Why does it have to be Republican versus Democrat? The thing we need to do is find where the budget can be cut and find out where we can raise new revenues. But the problem is everyone has sacred cows. Some people have, the golf course is a sacred cow to some people, and that's one of the few places where we can raise revenue in the city. But it is a sacred cow to a few people, and they've got to stop. They've got to start putting the city ahead of their own desires, their own wishes. The golf course cannot be a private club for a small handful of people. Then the ambulance service, I think that the more I think about it, probably a good idea that the fire department wants to take it over. However, it was not presented right. It should have been presented way before the budget. It should not have been included in the budget until such time that it was sure that it could be done, that all the older men and older women had a chance to look at it. It should not have bypassed Ed Russo, because Ed Russo is the committee that deals with that kind of thing, committee head. It was done wrong. A good idea presented wrong can kill a good idea. So don't do it. If you got an idea, you got to sell the idea. And to be honest with you, in this whole budget process, the one person who seems to be keeping a level head is Eddie Russo. He said the same thing. He's not against there being an ambulance service. He's against the way it was done. And he said that about several other things. But everybody else, for the most part, is very parochial and very much just for their party and what their party wants. And we can't have that. Same with the bus service. Something has to be done about the bus service. A year ago, the bus service lost 100 and some thousand. 2 years ago, it lost over 200,000. It's doing better this year, but something has to be done about it. Some changes have to be made to either make that at least break even, or we have to ditch it and hope that a private company will be taken over. So what I see is the executive branch of the government in Amsterdam and the legislative branch, none of them willing to make the right decisions, none of them willing to make the right choices, none of them willing to make the tough decisions. It's not just one side or the other, it's both. And those of us who live in the city, and I don't live in the city, but I have a business here, and the taxes going up affects my business. When the water rates go up, I have to pay more for water. When the sewage rates go up, I have to pay more for sewage. It's baloney that I don't pay taxes. I do through my rent. And if you want to know if people who pay rent pay taxes, all you got to do is ask them, did your rent go up when your landlord's taxes went up? Of course they did. So it affects renters as well as homeowners. But we have too many people in Amsterdam. I shouldn't say too many, but we have some people in Amsterdam that have their sacred cows, they have their places they don't want touched, the things they don't want touched. And there's only a few ways that we can increase revenue. One is possibly the ambulance service. One is the golf course, developing it on the land that's not being used for golfing, or sell the golf course off, or sell it all off and develop the whole thing. Another one is the bus service, transforming the bus service so it doesn't lose money. We talked about another one that was done during Mario Villa's administration, and that was they forested 100,000 board feet of lumber off the outside of the golf course where they don't play golf. That was over 30 years ago. It's time to go and look at that forested area and see if it can be timbered again. The city owns other property that has trees growing on it that possibly could be timbered. We talked about the C&D landfill. Nobody wants the C&D landfill. I understand it to a certain extent, but if it's clean stuff, it's not garbage, it's not toxic, then we ought to at least consider it. We ought to at least look at it. It's not a matter of being for or against it. It's just a matter of being willing to look at it, And if we found it was okay to do, then when it was done and the land settled down, you could put solar panels or something on top of that property. People say there aren't many ways that Amsterdam can make money, and some are saying the only way is the ambulance service. That's baloney. Revenue can be raised in a lot more ways than the ambulance service. I've mentioned about 5 already. But nobody has the guts or courage in this city to do what needs to be done. I hear one side say the Common Council doesn't have the courage to make the decisions. I hear the other side say the mayor doesn't have the courage to make decisions. My feeling is nobody does. And I'm really tired of the kind of people that run for office here. I know so many people in Amsterdam that are bright people with a lot of ideas, that they don't run. Part of the reason they don't, because they don't want people calling them every night about problems. They don't want to take the abuse that Common Council members have to take, or that the mayor has to take, or whomever. And this is true up county as well. It's true everywhere. Well, you got to have the courage and run anyway. You got to think about the future, think about the next generation, think about the situation we're in, and you need to run for office. Good morning. You're in Valley VOX.
Dan, I called back because you brought up a couple of subjects that I was interested in. Mm-hmm. The mayor, for one thing, I don't think she has too much respect for the for the council, and the council votes. I'm sure the council tries to listen to their constituents, and she totally disregards. She vetoes everything what the council brings up. And yeah, there's other areas. Hegeman doesn't have Democrats or Republicans. You just go out and vote,
right.
And maybe we got to do that. Get away from these Democrats and Republicans. I became an independent, and I feel 100% better being an independent. But I was against the landfill at once, and then Mike Chara sent me some information, and I looked at the information, and then I saw other things. I might even brought it up on your show about where the Patriots play and Denver plays. They play on clean landfills, and and that's something to look into. And I support the landfill now. But as far as the ambulance is concerned, the one person that's really making it into a political issue is the one who's running for candidate is Jim Marticello. A lot of these people may run unopposed. I don't know, but if they wanted to put that up on a referendum again this November, I have no problems with that. But I will vote the same way as I did in 2004. But if that's what the people want, that's fine by me.
Well, that was my feeling. It should be put on a referendum again and let the people vote on it, because it was on a referendum the first time and they were against it. So, yeah, I would like to see it go on a referendum. But the thing that bugs me is all these ideas are being brought up. We're bringing them up in the show. Maybe no one listens to the show hardly. I don't know. Michael's brought up this issue. He brought it up in front of the Common Council the other night about the C&D landfill. Yet none of the candidates, nobody's hardly talking about them except for the ambulance service. Why aren't they talking about these other ideas? And why all of a sudden this year is there a big talk about we need to increase revenues? What about the previous years? There was then too.
Well, what authority do they have or so? Dan, they got 600 foreclosures. 600 buildings are up for foreclosure.
Well, there's no excuse for that. I don't.
Right.
There's big excuses.
But you don't hear about it. It's like saying to the people who pay their taxes, you're the dummy for paying your taxes. Because if they don't have foreclosures, why are you paying your taxes for? But I grew up knowing the fact that if you buy a home, which I own, you are obligated to pay your taxes, and you're obligated for the upkeep of that home. Now, if you don't like the taxes, or you don't like, they say, there's no jobs, I'm getting tired of the winters here, so I'm going to move to Florida. Well, that's your choice.
Right.
But I mean, you're obligated to do certain things as a homeowner, and but people are just getting away with just so much or so like that. And I can understand it's not any real good jobs here. The people have been crying out for jobs, good paying jobs. Not $8 an hour jobs.
Right.
They need jobs that are $15, $20 an hour. The way things are going, because of the way that the prices are, the prices of food, the prices of sneakers, the prices of everything. But when you got these unions, city, county, and school districts constantly getting pay increases, and I worked for unions for 27 years. You don't need pay increases every year. You don't need benefit increases every year. You had the one collar. There are people who are getting health insurance. They're paying for health insurance for somebody else, and they don't have it themselves. There's something wrong here. But the aldermen say, well, if you don't, or anybody else says, if you don't like the job you're doing, just vote us out. But the damage is already there.
Right.
So, well, anyway, I just thought I'd give you a call, but so I found the interest about the ambulance and whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Here's my feeling about what's going on at City Hall is that we don't have many adults there, and I think it's appropriate that the Common Council meets in the former children's nursery of the Sanford family, because that's what it seems to me, that there's an awful lot of childishness going on, and it's not just on one side. I'm sorry, even though I support one person more than I do others, I really care a lot about Ann Thane, but the childishness goes on all sides, including Jerry Decasitis. And if you want me to name names, I will, and I can. And I'm also a little disappointed in Mike Villa, because he wanted to sit down and talk to me about ideas for increasing revenues, but he never did. He got back to me a couple times. I didn't ask him, he asked me. And he said, well, I'll get together with you next week. We'll have lunch. And he didn't. So what do I take away from that is that when he found out that I thought we should increase revenues through the golf course, that doesn't go over well with certain Republicans here, because the golf course has become a private club for certain people. That's a fact. You can go up there and find them sitting there and find out who it's a private club of. And this is sad because a few people are ruining the city for their own benefit. And I'm sure this goes on, not just here, but at St. Johnsville, Palatine Bridge, Nelliston, who knows where it all goes on. But it's time to think bigger than your party. Think bigger than yourself. Think bigger than your little teeny interests. Someday you're going to die and no one's going to even remember you. So do something worthwhile while you're alive, you know? Do something worthwhile. And some of you got to get out and vote. Don't let these candidates, any of them, go unopposed this year. None of them. There should be somebody running against every single candidate on the Common Council, every candidate that's running up county for anything, any candidate that may be running on the county level, somebody should be there to oppose them, and everybody should get out and vote. There's no excuse for not voting. When you don't vote, you know, being a citizen is more than just paying your taxes. It's voting as well, and it's more than just voting. It's getting involved in the community in one way or another, sitting on committees that you may not get paid for, getting involved with various local organizations. This idea, well, I paid my taxes, so that's all I'm going to do. I've done my duty. That's just not true. Anyway, we're not even going to come close to getting through what I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about so much, and we only have a few minutes left. I do want to mention that my son has started a fundraiser for his movie, The Last Frankenstein. It's not just his movie. They've got a lot of actors and actresses already lined up for it. If you go to Kickstarter.com, you can type The Last Frankenstein in the search engine and find it. Now, they've raised about $3,400 so far out of $13,000. There's only 20 days left. If they don't raise it all, if they don't raise the entire $13,000, the money goes back to the donors and they don't get any of it. So if you're interested in this movie being made in Amsterdam, you can go to that site and donate. Or you can bring a check down to me at the bookstore made out to my son, David Weaver, or Gila Films. That's Gila. Gila. They call them the Gila monsters. There's some kind of iguana or something in the Southwest, some kind of lizard, and that's where he got that name from. Gila. Gila Films. That's a Spanish word, Gila. So you could bring a check to me, and I'd make sure he'll get it. And if you make it out to him or to Gila Films, you'll go to the right person, and nothing will be taken off. I won't get anything or whatever. Then, along with Spring Fling today, there's a live taping of a radio drama down at the Arts Center, and that is at 1 o'clock. Creative Arts Center today, 1 o'clock. You can watch a radio drama being done, as it's being taped, as it's being acted out and taped. Also at the library today, that's over with. Sorry about that. Tomorrow, Amsterdam Reads at the Century Club, 1 to 3 p.m. Amsterdam Reads 2015 presents storyteller Nancy Marie Payne, author of How I Came to Dowagiac, Memories of an Orphan Train Rider. She's going to dramatically tell the story of a 10-year-old orphan train rider from 1854. They usually have cookies and refreshments there for free, usually. I can't guarantee it's going to be that way this year, and it's really a great thing, a great program, and you'll have a good time if you go down there. A lot of other events going on. I can't name them all, otherwise it cuts into my show too much. I wanted to get into this article, and I'm going to do it on Tuesday, and we're going to have to cover some of these issues again on Tuesday because so many people are at Spring Fling. They're not listening to this program, so I want to hit the budgets again on Tuesday, but I also want to talk more about this issue, this article, which it's kind of got a vulgar title, but it was in Reason magazine, and the title of this article is "Why Is That Cop's Finger in Your Butt?" And it's about, this is true. This is not some wacko writing this story, but down in Texas, police officers have been actually doing body cavity checks on the side of the road. And if it's a woman, they bring up a woman police officer there, but they're doing them on the side of the road. In one case, when the woman did a search of two different women from the same car, she didn't even change her gloves in between. One woman has sued and won $184,000 for what they put her through. The Texas legislature is actually passing a law to say this can't be done anymore. That's how bad it is, that the legislature actually has to pass a law saying you can't do body searches, you can't cavity searches on the side of the road. I mean, that is crazy. But there's an awful lot of craziness going on in the world, and I thank you for listening today, and hopefully, we can't end the craziness by talking about it. We have to end it by getting involved in life, in our communities, in politics, and other things. That's how we end the craziness, by getting involved, not by just criticizing and talking about it. And I want to thank everyone for listening today to Dan Weaver on Valley VOX here at WCSS 1490 AM and 1120 AM WKAJ in St. Johnsville. And I'll be back Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. So please tune in Tuesday morning to Valley VOX, 10 o'clock. Sam will be in at 9 on Tuesday. Thank you again. Have a great weekend.
Sound Off with Sam Zerlo, weekday mornings at 9 on 1490 AM, WCSS Amsterdam.